this afternoon. We will finish at session B at 3 o'clock, and we'll have a coffee break, and we'll start session C just after 3, or about 3:15 or so. We have 4 speakers in this afternoon's session, this first session, and I'm very pleased to introduce to you Bob Chen, the Muyang company in China. As I said this morning, milling is not just about feed milling, it's not just about flour milling. In fact, the two industries, or rice milling, the industries are locked together. We might carry out operations on different sites, but overall we're part of the same business of processing cereals into foodstuffs and into feedstuffs. And it's my great pleasure to have Bob on our program this afternoon from the Muyang group, and he's going to be talking about a subject that I think all millers should be aware of, but he's going to talk about it from his background of feed milling. And this is the subject of fuzzy control systems in high efficient feed pelleting. And these fuzzy control systems can, obviously Bob will explain, be adopted to other processes in addition to pelleting, but his experience is around pelleting. And Bob, I'd like to pass the floor over to you. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and your background to start off, but the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. My name is Bob Chen. I've been in South Asia since last 8 years. I give all the services to these feed millers. So here with Muyang, since last two and a half years, and we coming out with this new control system. Based on this new control system, we increasing the capacity, reduce the power consumption, and we got some results. And here I want to share those information with you. First here, I give you some background about this. As we know, the full automatic production is the future of feed manufacturing industry because of the following advantages. Full automatic can increase the output and enhance the productivities and the speed of productions, shutdown time, improve and uniform quality, and consistent and stable production, and produce cost and fewer accidents, manpower, human influence, and others. However, human experience and operations are more flexible in the optimization of production to gain the satisfied results. For example, in a feed mill, production of pig feed pellet mill, the automation system is able to run the pellet mill stable at the feeding ratio at 57 Hertz. That means it's an automatic system put 57 Hertz. But if the skilled operator, he can run in the same pellet mill with a feeding ratio at 60 Hertz. That is the difference between the machines and human skilled operators. So after that, we switch the system from the manual to auto. It's a 4 to feed at 60 because the machine already got everything that we feeding based on all the conditions. They reach the 57 Hertz. This means the 57 Hertz is the current or optional control stage of the control system. So is there any possibility of automatic control system acting like the experienced pellet mill operator, and even how? So how Muyang solved those problems is to link experience with the intelligent and reliable automations. This method is today we are going to give us is a fast control. A fast control system is based on the fast logic. It's categorized by to able to learn from the experience rules and be easy upgraded, adding a new rules to improve the performance or adding new features. More effective to control with low cost implementations because of the simple hardware configuration. And Muyang Smart Control System, they're simple to adding on this from this touching screen, power PLC, and server PC, and monitoring elements, and executing elements. Detectable parameters from this motor current, steam pressure, conditioning temperature, and also this controllable parameter, feeding ratio, steam addition rate, available of minimum 20 feed formulas, engagable online, and start to stable time, cool start time with 5 minutes, and warm start to 3 minutes, and control accuracy, load currency is -+5 amperes, loading conditioning temperature is -+1.4 degrees. This water Muyang Smart Control System can bring is that increasing energy efficiency. So here, after 2 years running, we got some actual real data is that compared to the manual production, the output is really increasing by 80%. And thanks to the process parameter optimization function based on the expert experience, the pelleting is able to run a high operation level. And average power consumption is decreasing by 9%. And because of the stable and consistent production and eliminated downtime, more adaptable production change in different seasons. Available 20 formulas for production, and each formula provides a customized expert operation solutions. And with a remote control, open interface, data processing, data collection, recording, reporting, printing, production tracing, and optimizing. Also be able to communicate with this ERP system, which if your company has this ERP system. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Just to give you some simple idea for this one. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Bob. Any questions? Okay, thank you. And the second speaker this afternoon is Roman Inauen is from the Bühler Group, and he will be talking to us about efficient milling premium end products. And I'd like to give you a little bit of background on Roman before he takes the podium. Roman Inauen joined Bühler in 1986 and starting his apprenticeship as a mill constructor. After 4 years, he was working in several different positions, such as installation supervisor, doing overseas installations of milling plants. Furthermore, he did about 8 years as project manager at in the engineering department. During that time, he graduated as a milling technologist at the Swiss School of Milling. After completing assignments and fulfillment and plant installations, he was made responsible for the flour milling business to take care of various machines and portfolios in the role as product manager. Since 2007, Roman has been responsible as product manager for all cleaning machines, including optical sorting, as well as for the market segment brewing. Roman's going to be talking to us this afternoon about efficient milling, premium end products.
I would like to give a presentation about efficient milling, premium finished products. It's probably the hardest part to have a speech after lunch because everybody is tired, but I will do my best to keep you awake. Okay, milling is a very competitive business. If you ask some customers they tell us their aim is not to make flour, the aim is to make money. And if their action do not give enough return on their investments, they will refocus. But where does profitability come? From modern competitive flour milling. Is it in purchasing of wheat, in the product quality, in logistics, in the process efficiency, or in flour sales? We don't know. I think the answer lies somewhere in between. But we should agree that millers must view their work in a financial context, and that their milling process must be efficient in all aspects. But let us have first a look at a few trends which can influence our businesses. Following, I have picked out just some 4 examples of drivers, respectively mega trends, which influence our daily life and of course also our business in some way. So let's start with raw materials. As you all know, raw materials have an increasing demand because population is growing around the world. There's a strong price volatility on raw materials. There are new suppliers coming to the markets with different qualities of raw materials. Harvesting and seed types are changing. So there's an uncertainty, or let's say a movement which is sometimes hard to control. All that factors cannot be influenced by us because it's just the market mechanisms which are working after certain rules. But we as Bühler, or Bühler's aim is to develop the most efficient cleaning and milling equipment which allows our customers to make best use out of their products. Means cleaning with highest possible reject concentration and maximum good product, which allows the mill, for instance the miller, to have the best or the highest yield on the mill. But of course there are some other factors. I told you I just took out some 4. Of course there are more parameters which influence our businesses, but I would like to talk about those 4. Food safety is another topic. International food standards, certifications, audits which needs to be fulfilled by the plant owner. Consumer becoming more sensitive means the awareness of consumers regarding safe and clean food is rising constantly. Laws, regulations getting harder and harder. I think you all know what I'm talking about. But Bühler is working every day hard to design equipment and plants which can reach or even top the standards that need to be fulfilled. Manpower, another topic. Qualification of employees, availability of persons or of employees, training. All keywords that you probably also have heard. Nowadays it's getting harder and harder all around the world to get people with the right skills. Bühler cannot influence directly the availability of those people, of course. But Bühler can offer to train them, so we have got a wide program of courses, trainings, in-house, as well as on-site on customer's plant, to make sure you get the best people on your plant, and of course to make sure at the end of the day you earn money. Energy, another hot topic. Increasing energy costs. I think we agree here in increasing costs on energy, that's a clear trend which goes only one direction. Doesn't matter where you look around the world. Of course, we cannot influence the price for energy directly, but Bühler is restless in finding new ways how to make our equipment as energy efficient as possible. Means state-of-the-art electrical components like motors, frequency converters, which are mounted on our machines. Intelligent design, which allows low energy run. Process design, that's our topic, our main topic. Of course, there's the biggest, how shall I say, there we can influence, or there we can bring in our knowledge the best. Process design means advanced, safe, hygienic and efficient processes, adequate building concepts. As you already have heard this morning from my colleague Nick Wilkins, he was also talking about that in rice milling. Of course, that is also an important topic in grain milling. Efficient equipment, as mentioned. Optimize product flow to make sure you just meet the lowest possible energy consumption. As a solution provider, we must respond to these trends, and we do this on the drivers we can directly influence. So let's make a bridge to our equipment now. These were the trends or the drivers. Efficient cleaning. Everything in mill starts with efficient cleaning. Only best possible prepared raw materials can be processed any further, allowing best possible end product quality. Careful handling on the raw products, separating performance, just a few keywords. Reliable operation, low operation maintenance costs. All this is of course linked with these trends or with these drivers we have heard before. I'm going to show you now a few examples of equipment which exactly have been designed according to these needs or these trends to make sure your business runs successfully. For instance, our high capacity grain cleaner or grain classifier. At the beginning of the value chain of the process, in silo transfer and cleaning, a classification machine, or therefore we use the grain classifier Vega, which guarantees accurate grading and cleaning, high throughput on minimum footprint, easy operation and maintenance, low energy consumption. As you can see, all the drivers, we try to really look after all the drivers which could influence your business afterwards if we design the machine. Next example, high performance combi stoner. Efficient cleaning also includes reliable destoning to guarantee high quality end products and protect the equipment against damage the best possible way. As already mentioned, Bühler is continuously developing our machines any further and bring new innovations to markets, and so we are proud to announce and introduce our latest innovation, which you can see here. That's the MTCG combi stoner. One good example where we really, our DD department was looking after all these drivers and trends to make sure we covered all of them. Optical sorting. This morning Nick Wilkins explained to you, for those who have been here, how important optical sorting is nowadays in rice milling, in rice processing. It's the same situation in grain milling. You probably won't find a new mill today which is operated without any optical sorting machine. So that means also optical sorting has become a standard in grain milling. Because of the several factors, precise and consistent sorting performance, maximize product yield, flexibility and reliability, ease of use, user-friendly, intuitive handling, just a few keywords. Whenever you ask for highest possible product safety, optical sorters of Sortex are an absolute must-have piece of technology. When it comes down to accurate water measuring and dosing, we recommend our Ph.D. moisture control. Correct and constant moisture is one of the important factors that influence the whole milling performance. Since wheat has a natural moisture variations which have an impact on the mill flow, often it requires continuous readjustment of the mill settings. And that should be done automatically, accurate, and constantly means online and real time. Therefore, we have our Ph.D, which you can also see on our booth down there. Let's go to efficient milling. Or let's talk about efficient milling. What does it mean? What's behind it? Efficient milling also includes reliable, consistent operation, low production costs, stable quality of finished products, and high extraction. Also in milling, in the milling section, therefore we have developed machines which exactly following these rules. In the heart of the mill, the answer is our Dolomite roller mill. It is a strong and marked proven machine with features resulting in consistent grinding performance, excellent operating reliability, easy maintenance, high sanitation standards. For instance, our purifier, high throughput, top sanitation, low operation costs. You see, it comes again and again. Doesn't matter to which machine we go. It has a clear rule and we are following clear standards. Same situation with plant sifters. Flexibility, modular concepts, high sifting capacities, outstanding sanitation and product safety. It all comes back to these drivers again and again. Premium end products. Let's go to the finished product section. Finished product section is not less important than cleaning and milling section. At the end of the day, top quality flour is the basis for top quality food. And at the end of the day, of course, your customers, bakers, ask for consistent quality at a fair price. To make sure you can guarantee such kind of products or such kind of parameters, constant quality is needed in the finished product section. Efficient target specifications, on target specifications, and online checking like NIR systems, which allow you a constant online monitoring of your product quality. Last but not least, of course, the knowledge behind all of that is, I would say, the most important point. Because just to build nice, good-looking machines is one part of the medal, or one side of the medal. The other part is the knowledge, technology behind it. In the milling section, beside other factors, increased roll lengths and sifting area have strong impact to the milling performance, such as higher and more stable flour yields, of course, more stable quality of finished products, more reliable operation, less supervision in the production than before, etc., etc. Beside various well-known established flow sheets, for instance for more fine low ash flour, high yields of low ash flour, high flour yields in total, more and more some customers ask for innovative atta flour process, innovative BPFM concepts, flow sheet technology for flour, fine flour and low starch damage flour, example for Asian noodles. We, as Bühler, we do have all these solutions and are more than pleased to help you with our advice. If you need any help, or do not hesitate to contact our salespeople or our specialists down there at the booth. We are more than proud to help you. So let's get a little bit more concrete. Success stories, everything from one source. Two nice examples of customers which have decided to go with us on this path of success. I brought with me to illustrate what levels can be reached. First example I would like to show you is Dachan Liao, People Republic of China. That was the first turnkey mill we did in China, we as Bühler. Means we did the whole mechanical supply, control system, engineering, installation, supervision for both mechanical and electrical, commissioning, startup, everything from one single source. So without any local design institute, normally in China it's very common that lots of projects are not only designed by one company like Bühler, so instead of that situation you usually have the situation that you are working together with the design institute. So that example I'm going to show you here is coming from Bühler as a turnkey job. So here we are looking at 200-300 ton mills a day, bread flour or hard wheat flour mill and a semi-hard wheat flour mill. Another nice example is flour mills of Nigeria. Here we just installed a new state-of-the-art flour mill complex added to already existing 6,200 tons grinding capacity a day. So that means that project here, we're going to see here, consists out of a 1,000 ton flour mill, a 750 ton system, and an additional 480 ton system. And in the meantime, since we have commissioned that plant, this customer already installed another 550 ton mill and again an 80 ton special mill. As you can see, success means working together, focus on the most important parameters to make sure you're going to get there. As a conclusion or take-home message, I would like to give you some bullet points. Optimal use of raw materials, low operation costs, high yield of premium finished products, easy to operate and maintain are probably the main factors. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. If there are any questions, I'm more than pleased to answer that.
Do you have a question or two?
Otherwise, come down to booth 8071. You can see us down there. Just come over and have a look.
This was Roman. Thank you very much. Very interesting. I think combined with the next presentation this morning, we can see how these components all fit together and how they end up doing the same thing, bringing a quality product out to the end of the process. Thank you very much. I think if there's any questions, I'm sure people will approach you afterwards.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Third speaker this afternoon is Dennis Peukert, Area Manager for Amandus Kahl in Germany. Dennis is going to be talking to us on innovative grain and legume processing technology. First, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about him. He was born in '82. Dennis has a Master's of Engineering Management and a Diploma of Industrial Engineering and Business Management. From 2003 to 7, he carried out combined studies and apprenticeship at Amandus Kahl in Rheinbeck before becoming an application engineer and project engineer from 2007 to 2009. From 2009, he was studying engineering management at the University of Canterbury in New Zealand, where I'm from, by the way. And since 2010, he has been area manager for Amandus Kahl. Dennis, the floor is yours, and you're going to be talking about innovative grain and legumes processing technology. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger. Thanks for the introduction, and thank you all for attending this conference. As Roger said, I'm representing the Kahl Group, and in my talk today I will focus on a number of technologies supplied and provided by the Kahl Group. In summary, these are oat processing, the shedding of grains and legumes, protein enriching, the parboiling of rice, and also rice bran stabilization. But before we get into those details, I want to give you a very quick rundown about who we are, what we do in the Kahl Group. So in the Kahl Group, in total, we have 4 independent companies. All the companies are medium-sized German business family-owned. On the left-hand side, we see company Kahl. That is mainly the company that I'm representing. Kahl is the supplier of pelleting press technology, for example, and we are supplying our equipment and technology to the recycling industry for tires, plastic waste, for animal feed, of course, for the food and sugar industry, and also, for example, pet food industry. Then the second company of our group is company Neuhaus Neotech. Neuhaus Neotech is one of the leading suppliers to the coffee industry. They are supplying complete coffee plants, from the cleaning of the green coffee, the roasting of the coffee, the grinding, so the whole coffee process. This third company is company Schule, and that is also one of the companies or the technologies of this company that I'm focusing on today. Schule is a supplier to the rice and grain industry. They have different processes for the hydrothermal treatment, and for example, they also provide technology for the treatment of spices and tea, for example. And finally, the fourth company is company Hein Freezing. They are a supplier, manufacturer of freezing system, cooling systems for industrial applications. So freezing and cooling of bakery products like frozen pizzas, for example, or for meat and vegetables. This is an aerial view of our headquarters in northern Germany, in the city of Rheinbeck, close to Hamburg. In this area, the companies of Kahl and Schule are located, so the fabrication and also the engineering offices are located there. And then we have 2 more facilities near the city of Bremen, where companies Neuhaus Neotech and Hein Freezing are located. In total, the Kahl Group today has about 700 employees. And as I said before, all the 4 companies of the Kahl Group are medium-sized German business, so it's 100% made in Germany. The Kahl Group is really exporting company. 85% of our products are going to export. We have a number of offices also, for example, in Europe, in the Netherlands, in France, in Spain. We have an office in the United States. Recently we opened an office in Jordan, for example, for our Middle East activities. And then in other countries like Thailand, we work together with local agencies, quite often German trading companies who have specialized in exporting German-made products and technologies to countries like Thailand. So after the general overview, I want to start with the first technology that I want to present to you today, which is oat processing. And this is a technology that is provided by our sister company Schule. So Schule can supply complete plants for oat flaking. So oat flakes are quite commonly used in breakfast cereals and mueslis and muesli bars. So Schule can supply the whole process from the oat grain to the finished oat flake. In general, the process consists of a number of steps. As in most process steps, cleaning and classifying are the first steps. Then you need to shell the oat. The oats need to be sorted, they need to be cut. Then the actual flaking follows, and finally the drying process. And I will look into these independent or separate process steps in a bit more detail in the next couple of slides. So for the cleaning, classifying, shelling and sorting equipment, there are a number of machines available from Schule. So they have basically all the equipment to provide these process steps. So one of the main process steps in the oat flaking process is the cutting of the grain, and this is done with so-called drum groat cutters. These machines are one of the specialty machines supplied by Schule, and what you can do with this machine, you can provide or can produce groats of different sizes depending on your requirements. So you can basically produce 3 different sizes: fine, medium or coarse groats. Schule has put a lot of efforts and money into upgrading this technology in recent years. So today Schule is providing really one of the most sophisticated one-road cutters. And one of the big advantages of the Schule system is that the tool change is much faster than with conventional systems. You see here on the picture on the left, this is the knife assembly that is cutting the groats into pieces. And these knives, as you can see in the picture in the middle, are attached to basically a basket. With a conventional system, what needs to be done if you need to change the knives after they have become dull, each knife has to be taken off individually. With the Schule system, you can take out the whole basket, have another separate spare basket basically on site, put that in, and be back in operation in basically no time, and then you can change the knives in the meantime, so there's no loss of production. Another issue is, I mentioned to you before, you can produce different sizes of groats, and this is achieved by the angle at which the knives are set. In previous designs, under each knife basically there was a small trim which you could influence the angle of the knives. With a new system, sorry about that, with a new system you don't have any trims anymore. So the change over time for changing the tools is reduced quite significantly. The drum groat cutters come at a capacity of up to 1.5 tons per machine, and in case of bigger capacities required, 2 or more machines are used. Okay. On the right hand side, basically on the right hand picture at the bottom, you see the old grain after the cutting process. So what you do is you cut the old grain into 3 or 4 pieces, for example. And this is one of the crucial parts before you can actually go to the flaking. You couldn't flake the whole grain. You need to cut it before. So after the cutting, these groats, which we saw in the previous pictures, undergo a hydrothermal treatment. So this means the groats are exposed to steam for a short time and are then held at the temperature for a certain time to make the groat softer. So it makes the flaking process more easy. After the actual steaming process, you go to the flaker mill, and in the flaker mill you can set the gap between the rolls so you can produce a flake according to the requirements in terms of the thickness. And the final step after the flaking process is a drying and cooling process. So these are, on the right hand side you see some examples of products in which oat flakes are used, as I mentioned to you before, in almost any type of breakfast cereal, breakfast muesli. You have oat flakes inside because oat flakes, or oat in general, is considered a very, very healthy grain. Also the muesli bars today you find a lot of oat. And on the left hand side, in the left hand picture, you see one of the recent Schule installations for a complete oat flaking plant in Belarus. This plant is designed for a capacity of 2.5 tons in the groating and cleaning line, and for 1 ton per hour in the flaking line. And these technologies are used worldwide. For example, they are used in Russia, in South Africa, Spain, Germany, and many more. So after the oat milling, I want to quickly touch on the shelling of grains and legumes. This is also one of the processes that is provided by company Schule. Company Schule offers a so-called verticone system. The verticone system is basically a shelling equipment that is using rotating stones, which are rotating behind the screen, so to say. So the shell is removed by a form of abrasion from the product. And this sort of shelling equipment is mainly used for legumes or for grains for which the husk, the shell, is firmly attached to the kernel. The advantage of the Schule system is that we have conical stones, So what you can do is when the stones are worn out, you can readjust the gap. So you can lift basically the stones so you can maintain the gap between the stones and the screen. In general, you see a number of applications here. For example, it can be used for soybean, for peas, for barley and wheat. And for example, last year we have supplied one of these machines here to Thailand for one of the big companies for the shelling of soybean. And this customer will now use the shelled soybean as an ingredient for his dog food production. Another aspect to consider when shelling, when talking about shelling of legumes or of peas, for example, is that in recent years, for example, the fish feed production or the price for fish meal for fish feed production has increased. So people are searching for ways to replace this this animal protein with a vegetable protein. And the issue that you have if you use vegetables like peas and legumes, you always have a lot of fiber in the husk. So your percentage of protein is reduced to a certain extent because of the high fiber content in the husk. Once you remove the husk properly, at the same time your protein percentage in the remaining product increases. So there's a chance of utilizing more vegetable protein in recipes for fish feed, for example, in the future with this system. And as mentioned before, this system is used mainly for peas, for pulses and for legumes. It can also be used for the milling of rice, which is another application. Another technology offered by company Schule is the parboarding of rice. And Schule can supply batch systems but also continuous systems for the parboarding of rice. It can be used for paddy and brown rice. And the parboarding gives you the opportunity to influence the properties of the rice. For example, the dehudding properties are improved. You can increase the yield of the rice, and also another aspect is that you can achieve a higher nutritional value of the rice because you can achieve some of the vitamins that are sitting in the husk or just below the husk move into the product actually. So these are in a nutshell the advantages of the Schule process, and one of the main advantages is that they can offer the continuous process. It is a very flexible system. You can set the parameters as you go, and this technology is used also by a number of plants, Schule plants worldwide. In the next slide we have, for example, a picture from a customer in Greece. They have a Schule rice mill for 7.5 tons per hour and a parboarding plant for a capacity of 6 tons per hour. And these are some of the customer examples that are produced by Schule customers for the parboiled rice worldwide. Another issue that I want to focus on briefly is the rice bran stabilization. And that is also something that we have already supplied here to Thailand. This process is not a Schule process, but a Kahl process. It consists of a standard mixing conditioner where the rice bran is conditioned with steam. Then afterwards the rice bran is held at a temperature for 60 minutes and then it's passing through the Kahl expander technology. The reason for stabilizing the rice bran is that it has a lot of oil that gets rancid very quickly. So the shelf life of the rice bran is only very short. If you put it through this hydrothermal treatment, the shelf life can be increased from a few days to several weeks. And that gives the customer the advantage that he can buy the rice bran on the market when it's available for a cheaper price. He can stabilize it, store it, and use it for his extraction plant later on a continuous basis. So these ones, in the pictures here you see, for example, a few examples or customer samples from this customer. So this customer is really producing an rice bran oil for human consumption. So it's really a high quality product, and for this customer it's very important for this extraction plant, which should be operated 24/7 basically, to have sufficient stock and sufficient rice bran available at all times. And with the stabilization process, he is then able to source the rice bran on the market when it's cheaper, stabilize it, and have it in store for a longer time for his extraction plant. And that's basically it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we had a wide-ranging presentation there with different types of equipment available for different processes in the grain sector. Anybody got a question?
Well, my idea for the presentation was to give you a little bit of input on what we do, and if you have any questions, if you have an application similar to this, you can feel free to see us at booth D101, and then we can discuss in more detail.
Yeah. Thank you. Our next speaker, and our last one for this session, is Mian, Dr. Mian Riaz. He's the Director of Food and Protein Research and Development Center and Head of Extrusion Technology Program at the Science, Nutrition, Food and Science Department at Texas A&M University of the United States. Mian has published 5 books, 20 chapters, and more than 100 papers on extrusion technology and their related topics. 3 of his books are in the area of extrusion, extruders and food application, extruders and expanders in pet food, aquatic and livestock feeds, and extrusion problem solved. Dr. Riaz is a regular contributor to Grain and Feed Milling Technology magazine and a frequent speaker at international and national conferences and meetings. And so far, he has delivered more than 200 presentations in 52 countries. So you've been to Thailand before. Every year, he organizes 4 courses in the area of extrusion. He has been with Texas A&M system for 18 years, and he has a teaching appointment in the Nutrition and Food Science Department. I think we almost go back to the beginning of 18 years, don't we? Yeah. So it's a pleasure to welcome you here today, and we look forward to your presentation on extrusion cooking, processing cereals. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the nice introduction, Roger, and thank you for the invitation. As Roger mentioned that we do a lot of training programs, and I think it was the early 90s when I joined A&M and Roger came also one time to attend our course. Since then we know each other. But today I'm going to talk about different type of extruders that we use in different kind of cereal processing. Of course, cereals are grains which we use for the food and feed applications, and we will see. We briefly talk about what is extrusion first, and I'm sure most of you know that what extrusion is. It's basically a process in which food or feed ingredients are forced to flow under one or more conditions, mixing, heating, shears to a die that form a puff, different product like that. You can say it's a continuous pressure cooker in which we have a lot of we add some of that our cereal, the cooking here, we add some waters, and of course it goes to there and we cook it under pressure, moisture, and elevated temperature. I call them a continuous pressure cooker. Typical extruders will consist of basically 4 different portions. One is a delivery system, then we have a preconditioning system, and then of course the heart of the extruders, and then on the end is the die. And to make it easier, you can divide them into 4 areas when I explain to the students and explain them how that works. Your cereals, all that will go into that right here in that your delivery system. Then of course we have preconditioning in which we add some water and the steam, and if we want to add some molasses or fats or anything like that, we mix together in that area. Then it comes to that barrel, which is that cooking takes place usually 15 to 20 seconds, and then on the end there's some kind of knife or cutting device that we can cut that one. And just to show you differently how it works is the hardware wise, as I mentioned, at room temperature we have our cereals, our grains that we add, usually around 10 to 12% moisture content, and then from the delivery system it go to the preconditioning, which we can add the steam and increase the temperature, and depending upon our goal, like he just mentioned about rice bran, we can also put the rice bran in this case, and we can increase the temperature, and depending upon what we want to make it, we can increase the moisture content, and then it goes to the heart of the extruder, in which we also have option to add to the final tuning some steam and some, of course, that water, and then we cook it. And hopefully to show you that how that does take place, I have some animations here that I show you how that works. Basically, as I mentioned, that the raw material will come right here into the extruders, into that feeding, and it will be fed very thoroughly, nice, accurately, go to the preconditioning sessions. In that, which we will have some kind of beaters. It could be a single shaft or a double shaft, which mix the raw material with the steam, with the water, with the molasses, with anything you want to add it. And then of course it comes right here to that heart of the extruders where cooking takes place. And then on the end we have some kind of die, the shapes we want to make for the cereals, and we do that with that one, and that's when the cooking takes place with this process. We do that with some kind of extruders. That's a very typical process that will take place any kind of cereals. Just to give you some animations of what takes place inside the extruders is, I wish I could go and see it, and you can close that, and then some people want to see inside what happens, but usually it's not possible what happens. So why we're talking about extrusion? Because it offers a lot of advantages. Some of them are, we call adaptability. We can process breakfast cereals, we can process snack, we can process rice bran, we just heard of it, out bran, we can process the pet food, aquatic feeds, we can process texturized soy protein, we can process rice. We got different things there, so it's very adaptable. Variety of product can be made in different shape, different texture, different colors. It could be very hard shape, soft shape, semi-moist, all different can be done. They are energy efficient, relatively low cost and other process, high productivity. It gives you fully 100% automation control. We heard this morning the talk about Bob because it's fully automated. And the most important thing is that it is the high quality products, and we can create new foods all the time which we never thought about it. And there's no any waste in this process. There's very no effluent we produce from there. There are different kind of extruders that can be used in the cereal processing. We have basically we call it dry extruder, which is very short time, high temperatures. Then we have expanders and cookers and that type of extruders. We have a single screw extruders, and we have twin screw extruders. By the way, in my pilot plant we have 8 extruders from different representative. Showing some picture doesn't mean I endorse anybody. We don't endorse anybody, but it is just what we have in our system. Basically, single screw extruders, they are simple, they are cheaper relatively than the twin, but they have limited mixing and flexibility. Also, sometimes range of that raw materials may be limited. Low tolerance to lipids. If you have high fat products, may not go through there, and also low tolerance to moisture variation. Whereas twin screw, they are more flexible. They have wide range of raw materials and high level of micro mixing that you can do a lot of things in that case. This is one of that very simple extruders that we also have it. This is for the snack food production where you put some cereals. We use a corn, we use a sorghum, you can use a rice, you can use any of these things, and it make it. Basically, it is just a very simple process that where your corn or wheat ground comes over here, and it's very short time, within like 10 to 15 seconds, you cook it, and then of course you get your product, and that's why you make it all your Cheetos and all different kind of products you make it. That's one kind of extruder, we can use that one. And you can have a single, you can have a twin, you can have it, dry extruder, wet extruder, doesn't mean all extruders can go ahead and can be used to make it all different kind of baby foods, cereals, Krispy Kremes, all cereals, flatbread, soy foods, some other diabetics, bars. We can use it depending upon what you guys want to make it, we can use the diet. Let's focus on cereals, because that's what my talk is. Cereals are used as staple foods in the world, basically. Major sources of starch and energy. Most of that product we make from there. Some cereals contain good amount of proteins, corn, wheat, rice, barley, sorghum, tough, all that can be extruded very easily with all that. Basically, we have some of the advantages when we extrude them. We can improve their digestibility. We can also increase the degree of starch gelatinization so that we can digest better. We can inactivate some of the toxic compounds. If you have some kind of aflatoxin or some other thing, we can reduce the level. Of course, we can minimize that also contamination of microorganisms with these extruders, with all the cereals. We can improve the feed palatability, durability of the storage life, and of course, we can improve feed efficiency with all the cereals. Therefore, rather than using the whole cereal, if you can process that, we can do a lot of different benefits with that as advantages. Some of the cereals that we work with that mostly the sorghums, the rice, corn, all that we process. Corn, one of the cereal which is very common. And feed ingredients, extrusion of corn increases digestibility. Of course, I mentioned that some kind of aflatoxin, fumicin, vomit toxin, we can help to reduce that one in that corn if we have it, and expand very well to crisp pieces with the typical corn flavors and all that. Wheat, also we extrude wheat for different applications, the pet food, one of the most common ingredients in the pet food, and second, third carbohydrates, but also we can use that in that cereals where we eat every day at the breakfast, and that's very high in protein than the corn and the rice. Oat and barley also be used. They are high in proteins and essential amino acids. Both are reputedly beneficial for the health. Both contain some of the beta-glucans, which is aids in removal of cholesterols, and both are used for extrusions. And after dehulling and all that, we do that. Sorghum is the one which is very common in Texas. We grow a lot of sorghum there. Therefore, we did a lot of work on sorghum, and I will focus a little more on sorghum. How we have done some work. You can find most of the sorghums very popular becoming because you can still find it as GMO free. True property just like rice and the maize, and they extrude like similarly. Great expansion, blend flavors, light colors, extrudates, and of course it's good flavor carriers, gluten free, and most of that new fashion in the US is everything has to be gluten free because of some of that kind of ethnic appeals and also some of the allergies. People have allergy to that, and also the reduced risk of the mycotoxins, and of course it's environmentally friendly. There are different kinds of sorghums that we grow there. We have a sorghum which is white sorghum, black sorghum, high tannins and all that, and they are food grade sorghum and feed grade sorghums. And by milling fractions, you can remove some of the hulls from there in order to extrude them and make it for the food application. This is the raw grain, you will see them, and if you can decorticate them, you can get it 90% yield look like that. You can get 80% more and more hulls, you'll move it. Your production is going to go lower, but you can get it very nice. You can remove one of the decortication, all that hulls, and you can get it flour. And you can see that once you use that decorticated grains in extruders and this white sorghum extruders, they have similar 100% property as we have in the cereal, as the corn and the rice. Therefore, when you extrude them, they can replace easily corn, they can replace easily the rice, and we can make it replacement for that because these are some of the benefits we have there. This one here to just show you that one of our extruders that we are extruding that sorghum. One of the students did his Ph.D. and he's developed that after decorticating and all that. We processed through the machine in our pilot plants, and we made it sorghum cereals, which is gluten-free and all that. And we also made it sorghum snacks that we use there. And this is what we are making here. You can see the round balls, things like that in our twin screw extruders that we used for his Ph.D. program. And you can see after that it's uncoated. We have used the white sorghums, we use the high tannin sorghum, we use the black sorghum, and we make like breakfast cereal. And then after coating it, these are gluten-free. You can see that, all that. So after coating, you can coat with the sugars and with the flavor with that one. And also if you want to make it snacks, you can just do a cheese coating on it for the sorghums, and we also make a lot of snacks and from the sorghum. And there was the sensory evaluation we done also, and very popular with a lot of people have used. And they said this is a very good snack, which is gluten-free, and this basically have some of the benefits. These are some of the coated, you can see the sugar cereals with that. We also made the Cheerios, kind of that, rings with that. You can see the control by the corn, and then of course we use that 100% sorghum, and also we did that one here. This is our other extruder, which is the single screw extruders. And also in this case, we are making it, I believe, some other snacks which is from the corn. Therefore, doesn't matter what cereal do you have it, also as you can prepare the cereal, remove the hulls, if it's high fat, somehow you can remove some of the fat, and you can make it, you can process it, and I believe actually this is using it for the cereal. Actually it's the high protein soy based ingredients, which is mostly soy flours, and this is what we are processing it to go into the breakfast cereals and all that with the high proteins, and you can process with that as well in the extruder. And then we have also the same extruder, we use it. Once you have an extruder, it gives you flexibility. As I mentioned, you can have any kind of cereals that you can process and you can make it. In this case, we are making some kind of snacks. The waffles you can see with the same. Therefore, I can go ahead and change this raw materials, and I can go ahead and make it extra soy protein, I can make it rice, I can make it different products with that one. All that's a function of just die and show you that some of that, how the snacks, apart from the extruders in the slow motion, and when we process that, its expansion takes place, and it basically it pop up from there. Basically, sorghum's also getting very popular in Africa, where we did some work as well, where you can blend it with the soy, and you can use the full-fat soy. We use the 80% sorghum and 20% the whole soybean, and also mixed together. And it can be fortified. We did not decorticated sorghum. We just use the whole sorghum. And we can fortify with vitamin minerals, and this is a part of the diet, a part of cereal that you give it. When you extrude it, look like that comes out from there. You can dry it, grind it, and then of course you can feed to the people. And this is our other extruder. We have it. In this case, these are ground sorghum, and with the blend with the full-fat soy, which is around 20% soy and 80% sorghum, extruded from there. And basically, we just do a demonstration. In this case, we are just puffing it, cooking it. And once it comes out, you can either cut them, and you can make it, grind them, dry them, and of course, then you can put some sugars into it and all that, and feed to that. Therefore, the sorghums, we did quite a few work, as I mentioned, that it's getting very popular, and we can, extrude and use any extruders to process most of the breakfast cereals and all that. This technology. Also. This is the same extruders that you can see it. We're making it high protein snacks. It's also that twin screw extruders, but we change the dyes and different things on it. In this case, we are making about high protein multi-grain snacks on that one. Basically, it doesn't matter what you have. You have rice, you have split wheels, white rice, whatever. We have done a lot of work, and you can basically process any cereals using extrusion technology. You can millet, barley. Also, we did quite a few work with the small minor ingredients. They're not very common cereals. We process that one as well. We also did work rice. We heard this morning from Bühler about the rice, that when you grind the rice, process the rice, you have a lot of leftover flours and broken rice, and we can use that one. And you can have it, which is not really any you use usually for the feed application. We can take that one, and we can grind that material, which is all the broken rice and all that, and then we can add some colors into it. We can add some flavors into it if we want to add it. We can fortify them, vitamins, minerals. We can add beta carotenes into it. Mix that different materials. We can add some salt and all the flavors into it. Soften that one up, and then we use our dye, which is basically the dye which we developed for that rice analogs, and you can basically make it very nice. And then of course you have to dry them. Drying is very important for that kind of extruded rice. And this is basically that extrusion gives you opportunity to basically use a low grade material which is going to go to the animal feeding. We can take that raw materials and add the value into it. And in this case, you can make different shapes. You can make a long grain rice. You can make a medium grain rice. This produces cooked rice. It reduces the cooking time, and you can fortify them depending upon the feeding schemes in different parts of the world. And here is that you can see different colors, pigments. So you can have it turmeric color added in India. We can have cinnamon color added, some flavor, some cinnamon colors, cinnamons. And then we can also add some beta carotenes, different shapes. We fortify them, and we can do that with that extrusion technology. Therefore, extrusion technology is a flexible tool which can use a different application. If you have a raw material, we can process that. If you have byproduct, we can process that. We can do a lot of different things. We can also do quite a few work with the dal analogs, lentils. We took that same concept, and you can take an expanded cereal technology to the texture and soy protein technology put together. And if you know that lentils are very popular in India, and it's becoming very expensive crop there, and therefore there's a need for that, and we need to make a natural dal analogs. In this case, we can use any source of protein, which is soy flours, bean flours, pea flours, and some of the dal lentil flour, just to add some touch to it and flavor to it. We can use starches, wheat flour, corn flour, and all that. And then, of course, color of that dal will be influenced by that ingredient selection. We can, soy flours usually give you whiter colors, dark. We can add some rice flour, we can add, and at the bottom you can see different replacement. We replace 50% rice, 50% soy. You can have 20% rice, 20% and 50% wheat, and you can replace that and to develop your own kind of cooked dal analogs. In India, they are using this one for the feeding for the school children programs, where they use this one every single day to make a soup, and the soup go to the lunch in the school programs, and they use this dal all the times there. And there's high protein because of the soy or because of other protein, and you can use some of that one. This is some of the dyes that you can make it depending upon the shapes. You can have it design any kind of dyes. If any lentils, beans, all the things we can do it. And of course, after it has to be, you can use either twin screw extruders with the vent on it so that you can cook it but not expand it. At the same time, you can use a twin screw with a single, just a former where you cook it, and then you have a former which will form it and make it small kind of a dal that you can use there. These are some of that, you can see combination of different dals that we can make it with the Extrusion technology. Same thing is, this is again, you can fortify them. You can add some flavors, pigment, color, shapes, and these are basically easily cooked, but they will not be dissolved in the water because they've been starched into it, bind the pellets and all that, and protein. They have very good taste to it also. And this one is 100% extruded pasta, 100% extruded rice, and 100% extruded dal analogs, all cooked together. During our demonstrations, we feed to the students when they comes in, 100% everything extruded, and vegetable-based dal and all, the whole meal is extruded there. With that, these are the mentioned 3 books I have in extrusion area. If anybody interested, we do a lot of courses. As I mentioned, 4 courses, 2 in the food area, 2 in the feed area. And our next upcoming course is the food extrusion, where we talk about breakfast cereals, talk about ingredients, we talk about cereals. And then of course we have it also extruded snack. And then we have one in pet food and one is aquatic food. With that, I will be happy to answer any question you may have. Thank you.
Do we have any questions? Quite a comprehensive presentation there.
Thanks.
Mian. I just wonder though, when we talk about fortified snacks,
Yeah.
is that becoming more popular, or is it a hard sell to fortify?
Well, in the snacks, is basically in the US, it's called junk foods, and the snack food industry working very, very hard to get into the school menu program for the kids. In order to be in the kids' school menu, it cannot be junk food, it has to be fortified, it has to be some source of protein source where they can say that this is not anymore junk food, because they already close all the sodas and everything in the school. Therefore, the snacks basically is getting very popular, and also new generation, all that people who are working on the computers and all that, they want to eat a healthy snack, they don't want to eat any more junk. Therefore, even Frito-Lay came up with a lot of different snacks, which is great with lentils and with the healthy ingredients and the other unique ingredients. Therefore, it's becoming very popular actually. And if you go to the market, I was just there before I came here to Snack Store, and I was able to get all that snacks made from the beans, from the soy, from all the unique ingredients we never heard before. Therefore, it is becoming very common because of the health and because of that the snack food industry working very hard to make it not a junk food anymore. It has to be a healthy food and part of your meal where you take one snack every day with your food.
Do you find rice as a raw material for snack foods?
We also seen a lot of new product, rice crackers and all that. One of that best snack you can find in the States right now is made from the rice. They are basically extruded, or sometimes they are sheeted. They are small chips with the rice, and they're making it. And actually, you know, they are making it in this small, putting some hummus in it. And basically, you take that and scoop it and eat with the hummus. If you travel in the US, in the airline, luckily the business class, they will give you that. because now they're giving all the hummus and the snacks to eat it, and therefore it is becoming very common with cereals, especially rice, because of gluten and all these issues. They're using rice most of the time.
Well, that was the other point I was going to ask you about, is this trend towards non-gluten products. But is it just a fad?
No, it is not. Well, you know that a lot of people don't know that. They do not realize that they have celiac disease and they have allergic reactions. And they just keep eating the breakfast cereal, they got sick and all that. If right now, some of that people, there's a 3 to 5% population of the United States are celiac disease, they are identified that. And some of them, they have not been identified, but they still think they are they have these issues. Therefore, every company, every food company coming up with some kind of thing gluten-free. You have breakfast cereal gluten-free, your snack has to be gluten-free, your pasta has to be gluten-free, your bread has to be gluten-free. That's why we did a lot of work with the sorghums. We have approached by a lot of industry. We do a breakfast cereal. They want gluten-free. Snack has to be gluten-free. And if you go to that shelf now, and if you go to any of the industry, that is their big business. It's new fashion. It is like everybody wants, like used to be organic, and this is second one is right now gluten-free. It's not fair. It is becoming popular. People think that they have a much better health, especially people who have some celiac disease. They are promoting it and people are listening to them.
And just finally, these new snack foods, are they more costly than basic snack foods?
That is correct. These snack food, you know that typical bag you can find at $1 and all that, but all this gluten-free and all this healthy snack, that is around $2 to $3 a bag. These are almost not double, but quite a few expensive. And people who like to eat snack, they can still afford it, and therefore they are still buying it. That is healthy snack. Like my wife used to buy a regular snack, but when now she see that kids and obesity and all the issues and health, and she has started buying a very, very expensive snacks. And I asked her one day, she said, because these are healthy. And apparently, people, consumer like me and other people are willing to spend the money to buy a healthier snack where there is less fat and much better flavors, and of course some of the protein. It is.
Thank you very much. I think we've all learned, I certainly have something from this presentation about what we might be doing in the future when it involves extrusion technology and the opportunities that extrusion offers us. I'm sure your book is a good seller. Well, we've finished rather early, half an hour early for our second session. I suggest we take, if there are no questions or comments, we take a break and we meet back here. Those who want to come back for the last session of the day at 3:15. But there's coffee outside. I think it's there now. But if not, it'll certainly be there by 3 o'clock. So please come back when you've had a break. But before we depart, let's thank our 4 speakers in the usual way.